Hello, I'm Matt Damour of the Link newspaper and 99 Media. This is going to be a quick recap of the May Day nighttime march that happened just a short while ago. I was thinking about doing this tomorrow, but I still have the events fresh in my mind, and the smell of tear gas is still in my nostrils, so I thought this would be as good a time as any. So basically, starting off, the march did start at Phillips Square. There were a couple of hundred people that gathered there at around 6:30 p.m. Eventually, the march did start off, and it was a little bit of a false start. The protesters tried to go down St. Catherine Street towards Place des Arts, but there was already a barricade and police were not letting them through, so there was just a lot of confusion and unhappiness at the police response that early, just at the get-go. I haven't seen too much of this, the bikes being held up like this. So we got quite an interesting start to the protest so far. There eventually was a confrontation as protesters made their way towards McGill College Avenue. Basically, there were some Sûreté du Québec agents that were there to reinforce the SPVM, and they did have a barricade there, and there were some things that were thrown in their direction, rocks, bottles, and there were actually some smoke bombs that were thrown in the direction of police by some of the protesters. Some protesters who were all in black, faces covered, tried to rush the barricade and tried to force their way through. They weren't successful, but they did sort of drive the barricade back a little bit. Okay, so no, the people are trying to move, and they are being forced back. Yep, some elements are trying to move past the blockade here of the provincial police, and they are being smashed back. We've got some, we've got an aerosol. Yeah, we do have what seems to be a bottle thrown right now. After that confrontation, protesters kept going down McGill College Avenue towards St. Catherine, and at that point, police tactics were essentially divide and conquer. Riot police did come into the march, and I overheard one of the police officers refer to the tactic as a star formation. So they reformed in a star formation and basically split the march into two. And at that point, they did fire tear gas, multiple tear gas canisters in the direction of both halves of the march. So most likely they're trying to stop the back half of this group from joining the first half that was cut off at this intersection. Tear gas was deployed in this direction here, and then over there. So, okay, yeah, that one's very close. Now keep in mind that this is on the intersection of St. Catherine and McGill College Avenue in broad daylight on a Friday evening, so a lot of bystanders got caught in the crossfire. A lot of people who were just walking around shopping, not just protesters, and unfortunately I did see some children who got caught in the tear gas. I saw one man running away from the tear gas with a child in his arms, and she was obviously in a lot of distress and a lot of pain from having inhaled the tear gas and having made contact in her eyes. We also saw some restaurant patrons that were out on a terrace that were covering their mouths with napkins. So just, it was absolute chaos at that point, and it was quite indiscriminate in the people that it affected, the tear gas. After that happened, it was basically a cat and mouse game in downtown Montreal, as it often is when they try to disperse such a large group in the downtown core. There was one incident near Phillips Square where an arrest was being made, and somebody who claimed not to be a protester but just somebody who was standing by started filming the arrest because it was apparently quite rough, according to my colleague Noelle Didion at the Link newspaper, and the police response to her filming was that she got directly pepper sprayed in the face.
Got your number, bitch! Got your fucking number, bitch!
At that point, there was a regrouping. Eventually, protesters did regather and kept marching on St. Catherine Street. Some of the more militant elements of the march also gathered there as well, and there were some instances where they were taking traffic signs and traffic cones and littering them around intersections to try and block traffic and try to impede the police response to try and block them off. At that point, this went on unimpeded for a while. I think the police wanted things to cool down a little bit, so they did not try to barricade any intersections. They let the march go unimpeded down St. Catherine through traffic. It didn't really matter at that point, but we were sort of holding our breaths, waiting for the police response to this new regrouping of protesters. Eventually that did happen, and appropriately enough, it was once again on McGill College Avenue. Same tactic was used where riot police came up from behind the protesters as they were making their way towards Sherbrooke, deployed tear gas, and sent people running. So they're not charging, but they are firing at tear gas. And I do see a dispersion right now. No, you can smell it here already. But again, there were so many bystanders, and it's a Friday evening, relatively early in the evening, so a lot of people who were not involved in the protest were caught in the crossfire, and there was a lot of displeasure being communicated by people who were just hanging around and who were not happy with what they saw in terms of a police response. Eventually, the small pockets sort of fizzled out. There was a small contingent that made its way towards Barrie-UQAM Metro, but that was basically it. So it was a chaotic evening. It started on a really odd note and just escalated from there. I was quite surprised that the police responded that forcefully, that quickly in the evening. The whole live stream is archived on my YouTube channel if you want to scrub through and see what happened. But obviously we've got the highlights here. So that's going to be it for today. May Day was quite interesting in Montreal today. No real incident in the AM march, but the nighttime march was action-packed and had quite a lot of police response behind it. I'm going to sign off for now. I'm Matt Demol of the Link Newspaper and 99 Media. Check out linknewspaper.ca and 99media.org for more coverage. As always, follow me on Twitter at Matt Demol. Signing off.